Hey guys, this is Ninja, and thanks for tuning in to my first ever 1vx build for ESO. So today I put together something pretty interesting. It's what I like to call an anti-meta-ish build. It's got a lot of anti-heal, it's got a lot of resistances, it's got a lot of dot damage decrease, which is everything that's in the meta right now, and it packs one hell of a punch. Like, you can burst entire groups with this build while having zero thumbs like me. So, this is my first ever time putting together a build like this, so try not to be too harsh. It's a crit stamina necromancer that I have absolutely fallen in love with, and I'm pretty sure you guys will too once you try it out. It's very good in Battlegrounds, Imperial City, Cyrodiil, which is really all I play, and I'm tempted to stream it, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the build. I know it's a little bit long, but it's worth it. I go into a lot of detail about why I chose what I chose and why it's effective. So let's get into the build. So, on the character sheet, just sitting here, we're rocking about 2k stam recovery, which is like everything that you see on the screen here in terms of like weapon damage and recovery will basically double once we get our stuff rolling. We sit at about 10k magic, which is good enough. 21k health. Inside of Cyrodiil or Imperial City, we usually sit at like 27k, which is honestly enough. Like, you don't need 30k, you don't need 35k. This is a medium armor build, right? So you're not gonna have a stupid high health pool. We have 24k stam, which is enough. So let's buff up a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. So if we put on our rally, put on this, smack this thing a couple times, go into misform, 5k weapon damage, and 2700 stam recovery without a potion. And almost 900 mag recovery, which is all we need. Like, you don't need more than that. Necromancer has a ton of recovery built in. I run the lava foot. You could run dubious as well. That's perfectly fine. The serpent stone is what I run for recovery. Like, you could run warrior. You could easily push 5500 just with sitting there. In the top end, the build gets to around 7k weapon damage, like with a serpent stone, and like you don't need warrior. And having all that recovery means that you could do whatever you want whenever you want. It's super good for trying to survive. Let's get into the sets, because that's what everybody's here for, right? Front bar, I run briarheart. Very important to gold your weapons out. And in the offhand, you get a 6% bonus to your weapon damage, so having a Nirnhoned in the offhand is the most beneficial, to be honest. Briarheart itself gives you some crit, stam, crit. Whenever you deal crit damage, basically get New Moon's buff, which is very good. And the health, every time you crit, doesn't really come in that often. It's not really that useful, but it's there. I have a dagger here, because you can get this from the quest really easy. So if you don't have one-handers, just go and get 2 daggers. Like, why not, right? The mace gives you 10% pen though, so I would actually run another mace. Because we're sitting at, what is it? 57% crit. Like, that value might be a little bit overkill, but you always want to crit, right? So it's very useful. No, it's gear. Alright, so on the back, I run the Vadashran's Battle Axe with the weapon damage enchant. I didn't even proc it there on that dummy. Realistically, you're not going to proc this that much. But it's there just in case, you know, you have the opportunity to walk in and then go, like, do your stuff, right? It lasts 5 seconds, so it's possible to use it, right? Precise on the back bar, I would rather this be powered. It's just, you know, is what it is, right? This will also give you about 200 weapon damage almost when you stack it up. And again, those stats I just showed you there, I didn't even stack it up. Like, you can push very high weapon damage, even though it doesn't look like it. Monster set, this is a must-have. Balorghs is the best monster set you could run, period. It gives us, at the top end, we're a necromancer, so we get ultimate very, very quickly. In the top end, you can get like an extra 500 weapon damage from this that scales with all your other stuff. But the most important part of it to me is the pen. You get 23 times the amount of ultimate you use. So if you use 500 ultimate, you get like, what is it, like 11 or 12,000 penetration, which is ridiculous. That's like 2 breaches that are unique as well. Like, you can't get that anywhere else. This is extremely good. And we're medium armor. Medium armor doesn't come with any pen passives like light armor does. So yeah, it's very important to have this. Now this is the flex set. I like venomous smite. Let me explain why. So we're a crit build, so you know, sheer venom, if you put on Malachas and sheer venom, yeah, that would do more. Sheer venom might actually be better in the long run, because when you go up and you like whirlwind everybody that get hits by a whirlwind gets sheer venom on them. But you could also do sheer venom or hunter's venom like this, and it does a stupid dot, and can apply minor defile. You see, look right there, minor defile, that also does like 2k a second and can crit for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, there's that. And combined with blast bones, we can get major and minor defile basically on demand. Any werewolf you're chasing down is gonna get absolutely fucked. Like, they also take 25% more damage from poison. So you stack all that up, you stack with minor defile. I usually run poisons too on the front. You stack all those together, and you can fuck werewolves up pretty well. If they have 40k health and crimson, you're not gonna kill them, but you'll make them regret being born. Another substitute set that I did try out for a while, and I still like it, is Clever Alchemist. This will basically, you can push 8k weapon damage with this very easily. But it gets to the point of, do you need 8k weapon damage? Like, usually you don't, right? You need some pen, you need some pressure. If you just, like, the build's very focused around timing bursts together, right? You get your blast bones, you get your dawnbreaker, you pop into mist for a quick buff. But you don't have a lot of pressure. You don't have like 50,000 dots like a DK does. Think about when a mag DK's on you and they're hitting you with like 8 dots and you're just taking all your health. Like, they can basically control the fight if done well. So to supplement some dot pressure, that's why I like venomous. And same can go for sheer venom. Clever Alchemist is also really good. You could run this if you want to be a dick. That's basically it for the gear. Infused on all the jewelry. Only got 1 gold. And I like divines on the trait, just to get the most out of the mundus. And max health on everything, because I don't have a lot of health from my race. And well, I might as well speak about it now. We chose Khajiit, right? Because we're a crit focused build. Khajiit gives you 10% critical damage and healing, which is unique to this patch, right? They didn't have the healing part before. So if you have 60% crit and you hit yourself with a vigor, and you got crit modifiers on as well, you can heal yourself back up for nearly like double what the tooltip says for vigor. So being a Khajiit is very important. You also get some mag recovery, which helps out. And yeah, whatever. But that's really good. That's Khajiit is the best way to go for this. Now let me get into the skills. When I talk about it, it looks fucking stupid. I know. Who the hell would run silver shards? Well, let me get into it. If you look at Venom Skull, right? That's the one that comes with necromancer passives. We're on a dual wield, so we can't use D-swing, or else I would use D-swing, right? But in Venom Skull, it's slower, it's clunkier. The 20% passive doesn't really come in that much. And against werewolves, silver shards is going to be just as good because of undaunted passives. I also just don't like Venom Skull. I just don't. I hate it. Another like cool kind of hidden tech, well not really hidden tech, but a good synergy with silver shards and briarheart, right? Whenever we crit something, it's gonna proc briarheart. This can fire additional bolts at other enemies near the initial target, right? So if you got 3 people lined up next to each other and you shoot your you shoot your silver shards, you're gonna get your briarheart proc, 100%. You're always gonna get it. Whereas Venom Skull, it'll just sometimes proc. It's not as useful, right? You could use Flurry, but we're focused on bursting people, right? This kind of does damage over a certain amount of time. It's kind of shit. I don't like Flurry. You just look like an asshole going up and like jabbing people for 0 damage. Don't run Flurry. There's also some other passives we get from running silver shards, right? We get an additional 3% weapon damage for each fighter's guild ability. So that combined with Camo Hunter, combined with Dawnbreaker, that's a 9% increase to weapon damage, which is very good, right? I mean, we're not stacking... If you stack 8k with like Clever Alchemist, it's going to push it a lot more. So that's why I run silver shards instead of anything else, honestly. Blast Bones, you all know Blast Bones, right? Major Defile. Yeah, it's your burst, right? Whirling Blades, this is your AoE execute. And the reason that dual wield is so good for this kind of setup is the skill itself. If you hit people with a Dawnbreaker and they're all on the ground, you can just do this. You can just walk around in Whirlwind. And since it's AoE, they can't dodge it. Even if they try and dodge it, you'll still hit them. So there's nothing they can do about it. If you look at Executioner instead, or Reverse Slice I think it's called, you have to be targeted on somebody for it to even come out, right? So in that way, this is much, much better. And if we also go to passives, the really good one to get, well, obviously this one, right? But it also gives you a 15% damage bonus when attacking people that are knocked down by Dawnbreaker, right? So this gets buffed a lot. You can hit really dumb numbers with this. And if you crit, which we're gonna crit, and nobody builds Impen because you're stupid. You know, everybody's running Malakath and stuff, and then they forget about the guy with 60% crit that can just one-shot them. So, that's really good. Elusive Mist. For me, this is a must-have. I love this skill too much to not use it. We have a lot of magic recovery. We have like 900 without a potion. So, like, we can get this back so easily. Like, we don't use a lot of magic for other stuff. And if we go to vampire passives, Strike from the Shadows, if you just flicker it, which is kind of what I call it, so you go in and you like block to get out, right? But if you do that instantly, just get the buff whenever you want. You can also use it defensively in that clip I showed earlier of the guy hitting me with an onslaught, and I just flicked it. Not really flicked it, but you know, flickered it. It's an extremely useful defense tool and kiting tool. Like, you take it's too good. It's too good. You gotta use it. I also have Undeath. I am a stage 3 vampire, so that helps out with the tankiness, right? Because we're only at like not a lot of resistances, right? Like only 20k each since we're in medium. But you know, Spirit Guardian, Mist Form, you're not gonna take a lot of damage. You're really not. Back into the skills. Camo Hunter. This is going to give us our crit. It's going to detect Nightblades. If we crit with a Silver Shards, which is another nice synergy with this, hit somebody in the back from range with it, we're going to get Minor Berserk, which is going to push all of our damage up by 5%. And pièce de résistance, Dawnbreaker. You all know what it does. You all know why it's here. Saw in the footage earlier. This thing hits like a truck. It's your main tool to blow people up. I honestly would not try this with Pestilent, though it is nice. it's just not gonna give you that immediate satisfaction as Dawnbreaker will. So you could run it on the back if you want for group play. Like if you see somebody's lining up a giant AoE stun, slap this down. But for solo 1vx, just don't do it. Looking at the back, necrotic potency. I don't run the tether. I don't like it. If we look at it, right, it gives you 14k health over 12 seconds. Now people think this is a huge hot. It's not. It's really not. And the stamina restore that you get from it is not a lot either. That's, if you take 1300 stamina over 12 seconds, that's a little over 100 stamina a second. That's not, and we already have like 3700 stam recovery in the top end. We don't need it at all. And if you look at the tooltip for this, right, that's like 14k over 12. This is basically the same when I buff up over 4. It's 3 times stronger. And combined with necrotic potency, combined with spirit guardian, combined with rally, you don't need another heal. Then again, potency does give you a heal. It gives you about 100 or 1000 health every second for 2 seconds. And gives you 6 ultimate. So you can get to Dawnbreaker in like 30 seconds. If you're in Imperial City, make that like 15. You just go up to a mob, kill like 10 enemies or something like that. That's 60 ultimate. Plus, if we look at the passives here, use an ability on a corpse, generate 10 additional ultimate. So that's like 70. Also, when Blast Bones end, Summoner's Armor ends, and Spirit Guardian ends, that's more bodies. So just off of 6 enemies in your skill, you're looking at like 80 ultimate. Forgetting the ultimate you get from hitting people, doing light attacks, blah 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 blah, right? So you can get ultimate insanely fast. This also reduces your damage taken by 3%. That's kind of on par, I would say, with the healing bonus. It's only 3% too. Like, it's not. That's not why it's there, but it's useful that it's there, you know? Another useful passive to see is, well, I mean, that's just a lifesaver right now. That counters literally everything in the meta right now. You got a DK on you with Overwhelming and Crimson or whatever and Grothar. You just take 15% less from everything. You got somebody who hits you with Sheer Venom and Hunter's Venom. 15% off the top, all that shit. It's super good. This is why we can run a little bit lower resistances too, because everybody in the meta right now is using like proc dots or whatever. So this is super useful. But the main thing I wanted to point out here was the increased healing received by 2% for each Bone Tyrant ability slotted. So we've got Necrotic Potency, we got Summoner's Armor on here. This is your armor buff. Can't run without it, right? And Bone Goliath. I have this on the back just for that passive. Likewise, you could do Dawnbreaker on the back for extra like weapon damage to counter your healing. Those are basically the same, right? I would rather just use this. Extra health, not really important. Spirit Guardian. It's, again, like, you couldn't have a better ability for defense. Like, while active, 10% of the damage you take transferred to the spirit. That's just major protection off the top. If you had Undo back here, like the Sigic Order ulti, that's another 5%. So you'd have like 15. That would be the other ulti I would run. But I ain't farming that shit. So have fun with that. Important passives here that you need to have this on your back bar basically. Because while you have a living death ability slotted, which is our ghost, and that's the only one we have, your critical strike chance with all healing abilities is increased up to 20% in proportion to the wounds. So on the back, we're sitting at 40% crit chance, right? This gives us an extra 20 when we heal ourselves. So 60% crit chance, which is the same as the front, we can heal ourselves very easily, very fast. And you know, the big recovery passive, right? Vigor, this is your heal over time. It's vigor. And rally. This will give you minor endurance. So if you stack that with major endurance from potions and then the 200 recovery you get from having a pet out, you can get, that's how you get insane amount of recovery. So that's basically it for the skills. I do want to talk about this tree passives real quick. While we're on our front, extra 10% crit chance when they're low, which is very useful. And this gives us another 1500 pen. Since we're low on pen, this is super useful. And rapid rot. This one is nuts. Increase your dot damage by 15%. So this scales with venomous, which is why I have it. It scales with our double dot poisons, which is why I use them, right? Fuck, it scales with something else. Okay, it scales with Dawnbreaker technically. You know what? It scales with stuff, alright? It scales with stuff. Your mind's already going to what it scales with, right? You already know. That's basically it for passives and skills, really. I'll go into CP real quick. Siphoner, put 1 in here. Just have 1. All you need is 1. If you have a bunch of dots on somebody and you have your Hunter's Venom in there that you need them to take damage from, this will get in the way of them trying to purge it. So that's why it's there. 66 into Warlord, 64 into Mooncalf, 43 into Arcanist, 35 into Befoul. I think any more than this is just kind of useless. It only bumps your major defile up. I think regularly it's like 16%, and with this it pushes it up to 19. So if you put like 80 points into this, it might get to like 21, but at that point, what's the point, right? You'd have nothing in tumbling at that point. So only go 35. I wouldn't go any higher. 61 into tumbling, just so you can get out, right? 27 into blessed, just heal yourself more. 23 into 72 into master at arms. 56 into precise strikes. We don't need more than this because we're a khajiit, right? 40 into piercing, just for that extra pen. 75 into mighty. Kirchhoff red tree staple. Some into spell resist, some into medium armor focus, ironclad, resistant. This part is optional right here, 23 into thick skinned. I think it's really good. Just for 23 points, 10%. Stack that with bone armor, that's 25% less we're taking. You could take this all the way, like take some out of spell shield medium armor, push this up to like 25, and then you're at 40% dot damage decrease. Most of the builds in the game won't be able to deal with. You'll be unkillable. 32 into quick recovery, just cuz. Want to boost our healing as much as we can. Our Stamcrow, we got all the healing in the world. So that's basically it for the build, right? If you guys have any questions or any suggestions for a flex spot set, which I have for venomous, you could run anything else. You guys want to talk to each other about different sets you could run here instead? Like, I'd be more than happy to hear about it and put my discussion in there, because that'd be pretty sweet. Oh yeah, in terms of pots, just tripod, right? Thought I'd cover that real quick. Yeah, that's basically the build. I might be streaming this build again. I did stream it before in IC, and I was clapping kids in there. So if you guys want to tune in sometime, just let me know. Or if I'm already in there, just join in and say hi. Anyways, that's it for the video today. This is like my first build, so I'm hoping you guys like it. Alright, thanks. Alright, so I thought I'd just show this little 1vx clip I kind of got in Cyrodiil. This is my first, like, sort of good one. I don't really 1vx in Cyrodiil that much, but basically this just shows everything the build can do in one, like, minute, basically. It's pretty squished. I was getting fucked up by these guys. I'm not even gonna cap. But Mistform really coming in clutch there. And I tried to get in the keep door, I got stunned. Made it through with 900 health. Managed to heal up somehow. After like 5 people smacking on me. And I saw this guy, and I just wanted to get like a kill to get things rolling. So, there's that guy. And I was trying to get some better positioning here. That warden coming on with an Arctic blast, or wait, fucking hell, it's called Northern Storm. God damn it. He kind of screwed me up a little bit. And I managed to kite these guys, and then they stopped chasing me. I didn't really see anybody else down there, so I don't even know who they were going for. And so basically, I jumped in right here. I saw this giant group of reds and big Dawnbreaker blast bones, and I managed to pick up a couple here. Actually a few. I think this guy goes too. Yeah. And I noticed this healer in the back, and tripods came in handy to stun him. And so, yeah, I mean, gonna keep getting some kills, not dying. You know, what else can you ask for?